I mean, what else though? About like the vibe here, I was just thinking, besides getting used to that, everything's slower here.
It is, and that brings me, how many customers do you have from the other coast, Miami or, Lauderdale or whatever? They buy a vacation home here because they're just trying to get out of all of the hustle and bustle, 3 hours in the car every day, just going 4 miles. Whereas over here, I mean, sure, the traffic's a little crazy in season, but, summer does come and it kind of ghost towns it a little bit, I mean, we're definitely a seasonal area, not as much as we used to be. So don't, come here and expect, all the sidewalks to be empty, because that's not the case, I mean, which is really odd. I don't know how long ago it was, but I had read this article that said our median age group right now is in our 40s.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of young families anymore, along with retirees. So we have this really beautiful mix of just all the generations all together, playing nice in the sandbox together, living their best life.
That made me think of, because we both have kids. We each have 2 boys, and we know about the schools. Yeah. And the sports and the things to do, because a lot of times people come with their families and they're like, okay, what are the good schools? What are the ones that we don't love? Where should we be? We have school choice in the Lee County. It's changed a little bit recently, where it used to be you could go a further distance and now you have to be closer or do your own transportation, which isn't the end of the world, because a lot of people around here drive their kids anyways, but they're not going to bring school buses this far away because they realized that wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
But if you have a child, or like they're into the arts, or they're into certain sports, or what kind of activity, we can let you know, yes, there's a group for that.
But back to, school choice. I mean, I'm going through it right now. I have an 8th grader going into high school, and, the particular high school that he wants to go to, we're under that 2-mile threshold. So,
proximity.
It's proximity. Exactly. So proximity certainly is something that they try to get you in, but you get 3 choices, on that school choice. So pick your 3 tops and hope you get your one. But
we have 5. I have 5.
See, I have 3.
Oh, that's super weird, because I'm even further from the schools than you are.
Well, listen, my kids have been in charter school. My son's, being the stepchild out here, wanting to do his own thing. So could be 5, could be 3. I haven't gotten to that aspect of it yet, but whatever.
So So anyways, you have options. Yeah. But again, like I think only maybe 2 or 3 out of the 5 were going to give me transportation.
Right.
But it's still available as an option. So.
Yeah. So lots of options. You aren't, pigeonholed into a school because you live, 4 blocks away or whatever. You get to hopefully choose the school that your child gets to go to. You have to put your top picks, and they, eventually put you where they
I will say it's a little bit of a weird thing at first though, because you'll see in your neighborhood, multiple buses coming to pick up the children. And you're like, how many schools pick up over here?
And some of them at 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, what? Who goes to school at 9 o'clock in the morning? But some schools do.
So it is weird. And so also to consider that, good or bad, we could be neighbors and our kids go to different schools, and so they could still be friends, of course, but they don't go to the same school, which could seem a little weird. Like where I grew up, everybody that lived in my area went to the same school, unless a couple, private or something. But it was odd to me at first, the school choice thing.
No, it definitely is. But, we have lots of great choices here. I mean, most of these schools, you can just kind of set an appointment, walk in, see what they're about. And make the best decision, for your kids.
Oh, so. And at leastschools.net, they rate them all too. So you can see if they're A, B, C, and, kind of choose from that too. They have also the advanced programs. And absolutely.
You'd know more about that than I would. So.
It's just so mean. No, so there's a lot of the for college bound kids or whatever. And then there's the art stuff. So if you're into that, sports. So sports here are year round, which is really cool too. Yeah. I mean, cool, but maybe not, because it's, a lot for us when we have kids doing it. We don't get breaks. But it's kind of cool because you don't, have to go back between the fall sports and this, what I mean? You get most sports year round.
Coming from a football mom here, we have this great Pop Warner organization. There's several teams. My youngest son has been doing Pop Warner since, he was 7, 8 years old, I guess. And so now will be his transition year into high school ball. But there's a fall season, there's a spring season. I mean, I think soccer runs basically 365 here. You've got basketball through the YMCA or through the Parks and Rec department. Swimming is another big sport around here. Lacrosse. I mean, you can pretty well keep your kids busy all year long as long as you are willing to transport transport them. I mean, we have tons of like karate type places.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
the
all
martial
over the
arts are
place.
huge here.
And they also have these after school programs that they'll come and pick up your kid, you know, on the bus, take him to karate practice. And I know I'm screwing that up. There's so many different kinds. Your son's in that. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, my kids do the martial arts. They love jujitsu.
There you go.
And then my oldest is also doing like the striking, the MMA kind of style stuff. But
so all the options, after school programs, Parks and Rec is awesome. Jump on their website, just look at all stuff. And I mean, Parks and Rec just isn't for just the kids.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, like, you can go as a senior, maybe, you know, you want to learn pottery or, you know, there's tons of things that just get you involved. And that also brings me to my mom, you know, comes down here half and half, and she's into the Cape Coral residents group where, you know, they meet and, you know, do fun things, do activities, break off into their own little group. So it's something, you know, always, you know, for our older community too, to get involved in. So,
and she just said older, but guaranteed her mom doesn't think she's older. And no one here thinks they're older. So when you come here,
older than, I don't know what,
and you literally, people are like 80, 90, 100 years old, still out there playing their pickleball.
Oh, pickleball,
and they do not want to be called old, and they don't want to be around old people. So listen, you get to come here and not be old. So if you feel old up north, people don't feel old down here because it's mostly a really great weather. The sun's shining, and we're very active here. Like, just what was it, 2 weekends ago, we had like the art fest and the boat show, and they literally closed down Cape Coral Parkway all the way from Coronado to Del Prado with just like vendors and food and boats, and they had, you know, like cool things like golf carts and, you know, four-wheelers and all kind of fun things that you could do. I mean, obviously Cape Coral is very boater friendly, but there's a lot more to do than just that here. And the Parks and Rec, like she said, like they have so many, you know, artsy things. They've got yoga, they've got bird watching, they have all these cool things. Like, you just find your group and go do the thing.
And do your thing. I mean, to expand on that, you know, every single weekend almost in Cape Coral, they have something going on during season. I mean, the farmers market is a given. That's every Saturday throughout the year. They have another one on Surfside Shops, which is like, I think Tuesdays and Sundays. Yep. You know, so that's something that's really awesome. All these local vendors come out with their fresh produce and their, you know, trinkets or honey or what, you know, whatever they're selling there. But, you know, we've got bike night where all of the, you know, 47th Terrace basically closes down to all of these bikers. Everybody brings their, you know, their bike, their spouses, they go have a good time. They walk the streets, they do the bar scene, you know, all those fun things. I mean,
on Tuesday night, that kind of like a bike night down at Cape Harbor. It's not just for bikes people, because everyone comes there because they usually have a band, and you know, you're outside. It's just really cool vibes.
It is. And they had, you know, concert series, and I mean, I guess it's a couple years ago now, I'm really going to date myself, but Bret Michaels was here, you know, and doing his thing. So we do get, you know,
jazz fest, blues fest, like all kinds of cool things.
They really do. And again, you don't have to go drive over that bridge into Fort Myers, you know, because they do a lot of stuff at Centennial. So I'm not at all dismissing that. They have a great time over there too. But I mean, you know, for us people that don't, maybe we don't want to cross the bridge, and we've got plenty of stuff to do here. We really do.
Speaking of over the bridge or whatever, I just want to say, like, within an hour from here, like, you're in Naples, Marco, you're in Sarasota. So like, even if you don't find exactly what you want here, an hour drive isn't that long. And you could find so many more things. And then if you consider like a 2-hour drive, you could be in Tampa, you could be over to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Like, you are really in a spot where if you want to take a day trip or a weekend trip, like, there's so many opportunities.
That is so true, because I mean, I don't know how many times you've been to Disney with your family, but I mean, I can't even count how many times my kids are like, oh my God, not Disney again. But I mean, it's a 3-hour drive. I mean, nobody wants to do it in one day, but you could, you know, Tampa's 2 hours away. You can do Busch Gardens. I mean, that's what's really great about Cape Coral, is that you don't have to have all of the big city hubbub. You know, you're in this gorgeous little community. But if you want to drive and get in the hubbub, it's not too far away. So, you know, great spot.
I love that, because, you know, I'm not a big city vibey person at all. But once in a while, it's kind of fun to like go get dressed up and go have a night out in Miami, South Beach or something. And like, we don't really have that vibe here. Like, it's a very casual vibe. Like, you can pretty much go into almost any restaurant, anything, dressed in your boat clothes. Really. Like, because there's so many boaters and whatnot, you know, like, you can show up in your shorts and your flip-flops and you're not going to be denied service. Sometimes people don't love that because they prefer to have like, you know, these higher standards. So there's a handful of places you can go with that, but for the most part, it's a very casual area.
Yeah, it really is. So, I mean, pretty much anything goes here. You know, you're not going to get side-eyed if you walk into, you know, Publix with your swimsuit cover up and some flip-flops. I mean, you'll probably see half the people in there the same way. So,
exactly.
You know, and that being said, I mean, let's talk about, you know, the beach as an example, because, you know, the Fort Myers beach obviously is going through this like transformative period where, you know, a lot of that stuff is that you remember seeing back in the whenevers is not there anymore. It just isn't. It doesn't exist. Right. And, you know, something is coming, you know, to replace that, something big and beautiful in a McMansion or, you know, who knows what's coming in. And we're going to have a trickle down effect from that.
For sure. But like we did a video on Fort Myers Beach and it's out there, and like Margaritaville for one, that's done. Like it was almost done when Ian came. So it kind of shows you what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
And we see what, like every few weeks on the news, like a new purchase of like a big parcel or an old building, and they're going to build like whatever
100 high rises or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, that being said, it's like, you know, all right, what does Cape Coral local real estate look like, you know, 5 years from now? But it's really interesting to me when we were doing our beach video, we had met this woman and we were standing in the line, you know, talking to the chamber or whatever. And, she had said, I think she was in North Carolina or South Carolina. Anyways, a very hurricane prone area. She had said that I believe she lost her house 2 or 3 times and rebuilt every time. And she said it takes 5 years for people to forget, and it takes 10 years for them to come back. And I thought that was really, really interesting, you know, because certainly, you know, coming off a storm like that in Fort Myers Beach, when you go down there after, you know, all these years of maybe coming and, you know, it's like, holy Moses, like, what is this? You know, I mean, it's beautiful and you can see, I mean, I can see the vision and I can see, you know, where they're going, but it's definitely not going to be, you know, 1965 little bungalows and, you know, your family pass it down, you know, generation upon generation. It's all going to be big, beautiful mansions and concrete high rises and, you know, all kinds of new things. But certainly with that brings jobs. Sure. You know, and in the hospitality industry for sure. And, you know, the real of it is that a lot of the people that are in the hospitality, you know, maybe they can't afford to live on Fort Myers Beach. So where are they going to go? They're going to go to Cape Coral. They're going to go to Fort Myers. They're going to go to Estero. They're going to, you know, so the beach is a good thing. It's going to bring a lot of, you know, new people, new faces, new, you know, businesses to the area. And I think we're all going to appreciate it very soon. So
100%. The vibe's changing, but it's going to be beautiful. And I will say that we are like, depending on traffic, of course, like 45 minutes to an hour from like several great beaches. Sure. Sanibel, Captiva.
Don't forget Englewood. That's a gorgeous beach.
Right. That's an hour. Yeah. And Fort Myers Beach, Bonita Beach. Like we have so many beaches to go to. People ask a lot though, does Cape Coral have a beach? And it technically does. And it's on the river. Yeah. I don't consider that when I think of beach. Like when I think of beach, I think of waves and, you know, you know, it's different, but technically it is a beach. And there's also in North Cape one that it's the Charlotte, whatever trail you can go out and there's a beach there. And that's probably going to get developed up there. So there may end up being a beach out there.
The new project that they're doing on the Four Freedoms Park out there, that's one of the things that they're going to create is, you know, a really cool beach area with, you know, the cool beach bar vibe. And, you know, we mentioned the boathouse before. I mean, they're certainly rebuilding and that was a cool, you know, vibe out there. You sit on the big deck and watch the water and the boats and there's a beach right there. And, you know, it's definitely not your normal beach, you know, your Fort Myers
still the
beach,
river,
but it's still the river. So, you know.
Yeah, the northwest part will be like a real beach. That'll be like the bay's huge there. So it'll actually be one. But yeah, I mean, there's so many new things coming too. I mean, I know you're really excited about the food trucks.
Yes, I can't wait. So there's this really cool food truck pavilion that's going to be on the foot of the Cape Coral Bridge. And so what they're trying to do here is, I can't remember exactly how many, 12, 15 food trucks at a time, but each one, I mean, they'll switch them out. So, you know, maybe this week will be, you know, I don't know, tacos or whatever, but maybe next week will be something else. Right. You know, those fantastic, that there's this egg roll truck in Cape Coral and all they do is sell these funky egg rolls. Best thing I've ever had in my life. So
some of those food trucks are amazing. I forget what I got recently and I was just like, wow. You know what it was? It was cheese curds at one of the events. And I'm like, okay, I know it's really naughty and fried food and stuff, but it was like so delicious. It was, I mean, we couldn't finish it. It was only like this big, but they were so rich and just so good. But yeah, so we have stuff like that coming where if you were here 20 years ago, you're like, food truck, what?
Right. And then in addition to that little food truck area, they're going to have like a marina with some boat slips and little pavilions to sit under, and then some walking path. And as a matter of fact, I was in a nail appointment a few weeks back, and I happened to be sitting next to a gal from the zoning and planning here in Cape Coral. And she was talking about how, you know, one of their goals is to make Cape Coral a walkable community, you know, where you can start at Cape Coral Parkway and you can walk all the way down, you know, to Pine Island, you know, on sidewalks. And maybe, you know, they're changing maybe the vibe of Del Prado to where now maybe can have some more restaurants and maybe a bar. So as you're walking, maybe you want to, you know, get a drink or, you know, whatever. But I mean, how fun is that? You know, because Cape Coral really, I mean, when they started this community, I mean, they had no idea what it was going to turn into. I mean, you know, maybe our roads didn't keep up or, you know, whatever, but they're trying to fix that. They're looking at that. They're, you know, working on that. So I think, you know, the growth is great. And I'm super excited. I can't wait to see, you know, all these really great things like JC Park is an example. You know, they're working on that. And of course, you know, people have mixed opinions on that, but they've got an amphitheater coming. You could just walk outside and listen to live music in the middle of the day. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, you know? There's a lot of cool things coming. And it's like you said, like it's all just going to flow over, you know, as more people find out about it. I mean, even like 10 years ago, I would talk to people and they hadn't heard of Cape Coral. You know, there's sure a lot of people had, but a lot of people hadn't. And then we would say, oh, we're across from Fort Myers. And they're like, oh, I know Fort Myers. I never went over to the Cape or, you know, Cape Coral. And so, you know, people are going to start noticing as we grow for sure.
Yeah, I really think so. And, you know, being here, raising my kids here, you know, it was a good choice for me. It really was. And I know that you love it here too. I don't have any intention or plans on going anywhere else you know, right now anyways.
No, I mean, it's awesome. And I think that, you know, we've kind of covered, there's something for everyone here at all different ages and all different interest groups and all different price points, because we have homes. I mean, there's homes now back in the $200,000 price range.
Have not seen that for what, 4 years?
And then, and now we have beautiful like mansions, $5, $6, $7 million that like rival the big, you know, Naples, Miami, like they're beautiful. So, I mean, whatever your price point might be, and like those homes that are 5 million here would be 15, 20 million in Naples. So you get a really nice savings there. And
you're right on the water. So, you know, that there's something to be said about that. And, you know, certainly the new homes that are being built, you know, on the water, they've got new codes to abide by. So, 100%. You know, certainly they're elevating them a bit and, you know, trying to keep them, you know, watertight and water safe. So, you know, I guess the moral of the story is whatever you're hearing on the news, I mean, call us, talk to us. Let's have a conversation about it. You know, we're not in the business to, you know, not be honest with you. It's just not, it does no one any good. So
100%. And then we'll take you around to see these things. Like it was just last month at Christmas, driving around looking at Christmas lights. And then I just started seeing like homes that I hadn't even seen. And like, I'm in the business and I see lots of homes and stuff, but I'm like, holy moly, this 3-story gorgeous home right on the Caloosahatchee River, you know, and I mean, huge, like 10,000 square feet. I don't know. It's beautiful. And I'm just like, okay, you know, like it's just a total different cool vibe that's coming.
Well, you know, back to the part about, you know, affordability, you can get on Gulf Access Canal, I mean, in the high 4s again, low 5s. I mean, that's kind of, you know, entry level, right? Entry level, but still it is on the water. I mean, if you're ready to come down here with your tool bag and, you know, do some fixes and updates and things like that, I mean, you can get on the water and have, you know, a great place for, you know, around $500,000.
Yeah, we haven't been able to say that for a while.
And a pool home. I mean, I'm seeing pool homes in the high 2s again. You know, a 3-2 pool home, high 2s, low 3s. I mean, it's happening. So, you know, and again, like we covered before, I mean, don't be afraid to come in here and throw out some crazy offer. You know, you never know what someone's situation is. And, you know, it's definitely worth a shot for sure. So.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered a lot today. And, you know, if you think of anything that you would like to hear us talk about, because we have been around for a while, or someone...
Stop saying that. We've been around for a while.
She hasn't. She's like 30 years younger than me. And, or if there's like, you know, an industry professional you want us to bring in, like a home inspector or a mortgage person or, you know, a title company or something, so you can get some of those questions answered. And again, like, get on the phone with us. We can refer you to all these people. You can start having these conversations. Our lenders will talk to you before you're ready, so you can see like what things look like. Even if like there's something you need to change with your credit or your income, like they can help you. Okay, well, when you get to this, you could buy, or if you pay this off, you could buy. Like, they'll work with you to find the best loan program.
And you know, that goes back to, we surround ourselves with people that are like-minded. You know, all of our vendors and stuff. You know, certainly, you know, I seek out people that I know have tons of honesty, integrity, because I'm certainly not going to refer them to somebody if they don't have the same, you know, values that, you know, that we hold. So
100%.
you know, but that, you know, that being said, I mean, we got a guy for everybody, you know, everything, all the things, you know.
Yeah. So and call us. And even if, you know, you met with us 2 years ago, didn't buy anything, call us.
Yeah.
Like, if you need some help with something. I've had people that, you know, for some reason didn't buy with me.
No, that's weird.
Right. 3 or 4 years later, they're like, Susan, you were the only one that kept in touch. Send me the newsletter. You update me. Will you sell my house? Or I have questions on to buy another house, whatever, because we're going to be here for the long haul.
That's it. And honestly, it does matter who you work with. You know, maybe we don't vibe. I mean, you're going to vibe with one of us for sure. So, you know, just, you know, call us. Like, let's have a conversation. And even if you're not in the market to buy or sell at this very moment, and you have a question about anything we covered or something we didn't cover, call us. You know, we're always here 100%. For you. You know, email us, whatever you got to do. So
yeah, we'll put our contact information in the video, of course, and a couple of the links to some other videos that we kind of talked that we've done previously. If you want to go take a look at those to see what the areas look like. And anything that we can do for you, we're here. Again, we're Florida Future Realty. Opened very end of 07, early 08. So been in this area for a long time.
Been licensed for a long time, very long time. So, you know, if we don't know the answer, we're going to find that answer for you every time, all the time. I mean, we're all about consistency here. So, you know, what you see is what you get too. So
100%. Well, I'm Susan Milner.
Sarah Rothenberg.
All right. We'll see you
later.
Stay
warm out there.